Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media. Good day when we have our friends from Forever Balboa Park on. Janessa Wheeler is the annual Giving and Stewardship Specialist. It's been a while, Janessa. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm really happy to be back.
Always good to be back. And joined by a colleague of mine. I used to see him at the SDMAC breakfast all the time. Now he is the Vice President of Institutional Advancement for Forever Balboa Park. Phillip Sammuli. How you doing there, Phillip? It's been a while. I always think of you in the Armed Services YMCA.
Yes, I'm doing well. I've been at Forever Balboa Park now for about 8 months. So still very fond of the mission at Armed Services YMCA. And of course, I miss seeing you at the SDMAC breakfast. You often took cuts in the food line, so I'm tired of that.
Well, I think you came, but that's only because you came back for thirds. Anyway.
You're on to me, Drew.
Yeah, there you go. Joined by my longtime friend and colleague. He is the Senior VP of Mission Fed Credit Union, Neva Villamoria, and you're involved with Forever Balboa Park at some level, are you not?
I am, yeah. I was actually part of last year's Spark Award Honorary Committee, and I am again this year.
Very, very good.
And there's some good karma because last year was on my birthday, and this year, today is my birthday, and I'm on the show. So
awesome!
I don't know what is going on with that, but
and I think Drew just had a birthday recently.
I did a couple of days ago. I'm about 105 years older than Neville. I'll tell you that. And Neville will never age, for God's sake. So, very good. Happy birthday to you, Neville. What are you doing to celebrate besides playing some of your great music tomorrow?
That's the plan: is music tomorrow, tennis tonight, and more play, less work. Makes Neville a dull boy. No.
You're always going to be busy doing something over there. Janessa, talk about the mission of Forever Balboa Park.
Of course. So our mission is to improve and advance Balboa Park so that people and nature thrive together. Balboa Park is such a vast space, and I think oftentimes people forget about some of the park's green spaces and the urban forest because there's a really big focus on the central cultural district. And so what's unique about Forever Balboa Park is that our purview is really looking at the park as a whole and looking at ways that we can connect people with some of the overlooked green spaces and urban forests.
Yeah, Janessa, we've talked this about quite a bit. You've been with Forever Balboa Park for how long now?
Over a year, since October of 2022.
I know. And you've done great work. And in some ways, it seems like it's been over 40 years. In some ways, it's been like 1 minute, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Phillip, you're working for this unbelievable organization in this iconic spot in San Diego County. Talk about how this has been this wonderful transition for you.
Oh, the transition's been wonderful. I was just talking about that earlier with a colleague of mine. I think my blood pressure has actually dropped since I started working there. You hear the bells chime. Just that timeless quality that the park has. I'm, of course, a San Diego native, so I kind of grew up in Balboa Park, only to realize how little I do know about the park. Janessa shared about the vastness of the park. I mean, we're talking 1,200 acres. That I'm still trying to explore and to learn about. So it's quite a park. And a little trivia is that Balboa Park is actually larger than Central Park. Central Park's about a little over 800, and we're 1,200. So there's a lot more to be explored and to learn about.
Well, and as we've talked about, Neville and you, Janessa and Phillip can chime in on it. This is our baby. We better take care of it because when part of the park goes, it's going to be tough to bring them back. Neville, talk about how important that is. I know that's why you're involved in this organization.
Well, actually, I'm involved because Connie recruited me, but that's a different matter.
When Connie says, please step forward, you go, how fast can I run forward, right?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you're right. Balboa Park is historic. It's iconic. It's in some ways a best kept secret, and I feel bad for folks that live in San Diego County that have not had a chance to explore it deeply. This opportunity to have both nature and culture closely knitted into our experience, magical. And in context of some of the earlier podcasts where we were talking about mental health, hey, you want to feel better, get in nature, go outside, get your feet in the mud, plant a tree, hug a tree, heck, I don't care. But it's such a gift to our community, and it's regrettable that people either just pop in like to a museum or a event and they don't have the whole experience, the whole enchilada.
Well, one of the things that's great about it, and we've talked about this on the show as well, Janessa, and you can weigh in on this too, Phillip, I'm sure it ties to some of the stuff that you're doing as well, and Neville, the education is in your DNA. Balboa Park's a living textbook. You can teach every single content area from pre-K to graduate level in all the nooks and crannies of that park. And before we talk about the Spark Awards, talk about how education is so critical for what you folks do at Forever Balboa Park.
Absolutely. So one of our initiatives in our strategic plan for the next 3 years is to enrich the visitor experience. And so the park should be viewed as a living laboratory. There are so many opportunities to engage youth in outdoor learning experiences in the gardens, in the urban forest, as well as in one of our signature projects, which is restoring the botanical building and gardens. And once that's complete, there will be opportunities to bring in students and children to engage in learning opportunities inside the building, outside in the various gardens. And so I think when we're thinking about Balboa Park and the ways that we can truly connect people to deep learning experiences, it's important to look at the park as a whole and remember that there are so many ways we can get people outside and also engage them in learning about science and nature and culture.
Right. So, Phillip, talk about how you're going to play such a key role in this strategic plan.
Well, like Neville, I like enchiladas, and I agree. There's a lot to be offered at the park, and we recently approved our strategic plan.
Right.
Like Janessa had mentioned, it's a 3-year roadmap for the organization to kind of give us guidance in moving forward. And I agree wholeheartedly that we definitely need to reduce that screen time with the whole family and get them out there together so that they truly can thrive in the park. So there's a lot to be offered. As I'm learning the whole 1,200 acres, there's a lot of stuff that you just kind of walk by that you don't realize the importance and the historic value of that. So we're trying to change that. Janessa mentioned, there are gardens, there are trees. And they're very unique, but we need to kind of put some signage, create some learning opportunities, some QR codes perhaps. So we do have some recent funding so that we can actually do that. The Dr. Seuss Foundation recently gave us support to introduce literacy in our cactus garden. So when those K through 3 students go through that park, they'll be able to kind of identify some of the different cacti in that garden and so on. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. We know that there are plenty more learning opportunities in the park. We really want to kind of expand on that. We want to know those other collaborators in the park, and we'll get into that a little bit more with the Spark Awards. But our strategic plan really calls for amplifying all the good things that are happening in the park, that whole enchilada, if you will, that's going on in the park. We want to have those conversations with those collaborators and really see what we can do as a group in accomplishing some of the challenges.
Yeah, there's no question about all the cool things that you have going on there. We're chatting with our friends from Forever Balboa Park. Phillip Sammuli, he is the Vice President of Institutional Advancement, joined by his colleague Janessa Wheeler, Annual Giving and Stewardship Specialist, joined by my colleague Neville Villamoria, Senior VP, Mission Fed Credit Union, doing a lot of support of Forever Balboa Park. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, broadcasting from this very cool Mission Fed studio in Scripps Ranch and Mission Fed for more than 6 decades, continuing to do great things, support organizations like Forever Balboa Park, literacy, food insecurity, health. You pick any topic, and Mission Fed, is involved in this. So, Janessa, chat about the Spark Awards.
Of course. So this spring, Forever Balboa Park will be hosting our 2nd annual Spark Awards. And this was an event that was created with the current context of Balboa Park in mind. So one thing that really becomes apparent when you're spending time in the park is the density of opportunities to experience things like art, culture, nature, and science. And there are so many different museums and people and organizations in the park that it can be really easy to overlook some really tremendous work that is going on. And so this is where the Spark Awards comes in. Our goal with this event is to really recognize the different change makers in the park who are truly amplifying its positive impact in the community. And so the way that we do this with the Spark Awards is by recognizing exceptional work in 3 different categories of awards. And so the first award is Crossing Boundaries. And this is an award that really seeks to honor truly collaborative work. So maybe it's a partnership between 2 different groups that you wouldn't normally see working together, or it's interdisciplinary, but anything that really crosses a cultural or an organizational or a generational boundary to produce outstanding experiences in the park. The second category, and this one is my favorite, is Enhancing Ecosystems. And so this award is really focused on work that is geared towards improving the natural environment of Balboa Park. So things like urban forestry or sustainability, any kind of work that has a really profound impact on Balboa Park's environment and in turn San Diego's. And then the third category of award, is Igniting Innovation. And this award is really meant to honor work that is maybe risky or it had never been done before, and it brought a new way of experiencing the park or a new opportunity to engage in Balboa Park in a way that maybe had not been done before. And so with these award categories, our goal is to identify the people and the organizations that are working every day to make Balboa Park such a unique and enriching place for San Diego.
Now, have the awardees been announced, or are the applicants being brought in now? Or so on May 9 is going to have the big shindig, but when do you announce the winners?
So the winners will be announced at the event.
Okay,
and we are reviewing nominations right now.
Okay, no spoiler alerts on this. Okay, very good. We know all about this. I've been involved, as Neville knows, for many, many years in the Classroom of the Future Foundation's Innovation and Education Awards. We're doing ours at SeaWorld again, and we do the same thing. We recognize innovation in the classroom and so forth. So it wouldn't surprise me that somewhere down the road, maybe there's some connectivity between your awards and ours. Ours is going to be on May the 16th. If I can put a plug in for that as well. We come back from a break. Want to get back to Neville and what his thoughts are on the Spark Awards as well, and talk about how people can go to the event and all that business, and if they need to apply still. Want to certainly chat about your strategic plan on this, and then ask a good friend Phillip what our listeners can do to support your efforts and what the role you do, and of course anything we can do to support you, Janessa, as well, when we return with our friends from Forever Balboa Park. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you were listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for more than 60 years, just raising the bar for so many organizations and individuals in San Diego County, joined by our friends from Forever Balboa Park, Janessa Wheeler. She is the annual Giving and Stewardship Specialist, joined by her colleague, Phillip Sammuli. He is the Vice President of Institutional Advancement, joined by Neville Villamoria, my longtime friend and colleague, Senior VP at Mission Fed Credit Union. And are you involved in the Spark Award? You said you were, correct?
Yes, I'm on the committee that's going to make these selections for these three amazing categories.
Okay, so you did this last year, right?
I did.
What surprised you or didn't surprise you about the winners last year?
Actually, I thought, well, I helped choose them, so I thought they were really well chosen.
Hopefully, yeah, that Judge Villamoria, I mean, he's way off base.
The French judge, right?
Yeah, right.
Lowballing all the Olympic athletes. No, it wasn't that at all.
Right.
We had consensus around them. I think the categories are super interesting and evocative. If we're going to preserve and protect a treasure, then we've got to be attending to where the intersectionality is, where your boundaries are crossed, where ecosystems are thought about as in a multi-dimensional capacity. We're all living in an ecosystem, and yet we tend to live in silos sometimes and forget about how we can interdepend and interrelate. And then the innovation, because it might be 150 years old now. I don't know how old the park is, but it's
old.
It needs to stay relevant and resonant. So, and when you've got acreage larger than Central Park, 1,200 acres. There's a lot that can be done, and there's a lot that can be undone. So how do you, in a time of climate change and oppressing economic pressures and too much digitization that Phillip brought up, how do you get people to reconnect most authentically in that park? And I'd say go get lost in the park. Not all who wander are lost. Go see if you can not find your car.
well, I tell you what's interesting. You brought this up earlier, Neville, and you're right. We were talking about some mental health crises, and the whole world is involved in that aspect of it. And we talk about it quite a bit on our show here. But getting lost in the park is great. Don't put any timetable on when you're there. Get to the park. Get there early. Plenty of parking if you get there early. Walk around. Get lost. Go to places you've never been before. I will guarantee, as Phillip was saying, your blood pressure will go down to absolutely, manageable, and you'll learn something. The thing I love about the park, and I know you're laser beamed on this, Janessa, because you talked about the ecosystem was so important to you, and I know, really shining a light on, the environmental, capabilities of the park is going to be part of your strategic plan, in that area, is how the park is in many ways and should be. Here's a place where people can get together. We don't care where you come from. We don't care if you make $2,000 a year or $200 million a year, where your ethnicity is. We love those beautiful, houses that are in Balboa Park. This should be a place where people bring themselves together, enjoy everybody's culture, and enjoy the environment as well. Talk about that, Janessa.
Yeah, well, I absolutely echo your sentiment that Balboa Park is for everyone. And so the Spark Awards is one of the ways that we try to honor that same principle, because it can be so easy to forget how many diverse opportunities to experience culture and different backgrounds in the park are available. And so because of how siloed the park is, there aren't very many opportunities for everyone who's a player in the park to sort of convene. And that's what we're hoping to do with the Spark Awards, is to really bring together all the different museums and associations and institutions in the community as well, because it's a public event, and highlight all of the tremendous work going on. And hopefully people will leave the event and they'll know of a new museum or a new program that they hadn't heard of before that expands their view not only of the park, but of the world and of culture, and how they can learn about things beyond their reach.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about it, where there's some iconic events in the park. We all know there's the, the holiday. It used to be called, Christmas on the Prado, first weekend of December, and they would have, Earth Day and all that business, and 4,000 things, in between. But almost getting to that point, Phillip, it's just there's so much to see. Now, do you have a family? You have kids?
I do.
How many times have they been to the park?
Too many to count.
Okay, very, very good. Has their school been to the park? Are there school? I know that schools do tours at the park. Has your kids' school been there?
They have, and they've reported. They've had great times at the park.
Right, exactly. What can our listeners do to support your efforts?
We need people to get more engaged. We need more conversations. Of course, you all know that we are in partnership with the city of San Diego. So even the city needs help, and that's where we kind of come in with our mission. But in turn, our organization also needs individuals, groups, organizations to also kind of take part in keeping this treasure the way it is, and enhance it and improve it in any way we can. So we're looking for those individuals and groups to really get involved with the park. Let's have some conversations. I think that's the beauty of the Spark Awards. I mean, the play of words on that is so important, that we're really looking for those sparks to really inspire and motivate people to kind of get to the park and to make a difference.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Janessa, what other organizations do you work with Forever Balboa Park that are sort of tied to the park as a whole?
Yeah, so we, of course, work with Parks and Recreation. And so we have ongoing meetings throughout the year where we meet with them and they say, hey, this is an area that we could really use your support in. And then we're able to typically deploy some of our volunteers to help and take care of the gardens, of the urban forest. We also host park cleanups as well. And so Parks and Rec is one of our really key partners. In addition to that, we also work with a few different museums in the park as well on collaborative projects. We have a partnership right now with the Natural History Museum in regards to their new biodiversity gardens that will be opening soon. So they're going to be building these exceptional new gardens that offer really rich learning opportunities for the public, and they will also be free. And Forever Balboa Park is going to be providing volunteers to help take care of the gardens. And so we have a number of small partnerships with different key players in Balboa Park. And I think one thing that's really unique is that with our special use permit, which is an agreement we recently made with the city of San Diego that allows us to really streamline our work in the park, we're in the unique position to be able to plug into different partnerships with key players in the park and say, hey, you have this project, we have this agreement with the city that allows us to supply support, whether it be through volunteers or joint funding proposals. So there's a lot of really rich opportunities and partnerships that will be expanding through the next few years.
No, that's great. Neville, what are your thoughts on all this?
I was just reflecting on it was over a decade ago with my martial arts group, we decided to go and volunteer and do some cleanup. And I was on the corner of Park Boulevard, right where you're going to enter the park area by the freeway, and I'm picking up trash. And a car drives by and the guy yells out, "Bum." So
that's funny.
That was funny. So, but joking aside, I think leave the park a little better than you found it. Go out there, volunteer, invest. Back to ecosystem. We got all these houses of hospitality here in a very divisive world where everyone can't get along with their neighbor, and there's so much tribalism and class and culture wars. There's actually an ecosystem where all the houses of hospitality are supporting all the different countries. So we can thrive if we choose to make choices that are intentional and generative. And I think Balboa Park can be an icon of that for San Diego. As you know, I'm not a fan of America's finest city. I prefer America's kindest and most purposeful region. I think that's a little more our juju. But anyway, so long story short, reinvest in the park, reinvest in yourself. You can thrive there. And let's create a diverse and well-integrated ecosystem with art and culture and nature and science all in one fell swoop. Come on, what's wrong with that, people? Let's go. I'm leaving now.
Well, I think all of it is, hopefully this interview will inspire people. I haven't been to the park in a while, or I've never been to the park. It's a great opportunity to take, if you have family visiting, who doesn't want to visit San Diego when it's like 2,000 degrees below zero in Buffalo or wherever the case may be, come and take them to the park and so forth and just see this expansive area, 1,200 acres, as Janessa and Phillip were saying, and there's just something for everybody at this park. There's good food, there's music, there's you name something, and then there's going to be the Oregon Pavilion. We've been honored to have the conductor come on our show quite a bit and talk about the concert series that they do at the Oregon Pavilion. So we cannot do enough to continue to support the great work that you folks do. I'll start with you on this, Phillip, and then go around the table. Any final comments?
Yeah, well, I encourage you, like Drew, I think you're overdue for a visit. We have some
overdue for a visit,
great
sort of.
tours. We're real proud of, it's going to take these individual transformations to really happen to really transform the park into a direction that we're proud of. But I'm particularly proud of an individual volunteer named Beth Bushke, who recently was awarded Daily Points of Light award for her, excellence and really kind of thinking out of the box. She came up with the idea of creating these women tours. It really highlights the many, many important women of Balboa Park. And it was launched this month for the month of the woman, kind of an appreciation month for the women. And it's been sold out ever since. So lots of rave reviews about this tour. So I encourage you to kind of, take a look at the park again, kind of saunter through. It's a very thoughtful place and reflective place. Let it inspire you all over again. It is truly a place of wonder.
No, it is. And so why don't we get Beth on our show somewhere down the road, and she can talk about, her recognition as a volunteer. I'll turn it over to you, Neville, before I have Janessa have the final word.
Well, I'd just reiterate, get outside. John Muir, who some of you might know.
I was with him.
Yes. Yeah. I still have a Sierra cup, although you might get giardia if you just drink straight out of those ponds up in the high Sierras. But
right, exactly.
He had a great quote that said, going out is really going in. And so get outside, get a chance to connect, slow down, slow the truck down, and breathe, enjoy, and celebrate an iconic San Diego experience.
Yeah, spot on there, Neville. Janessa, any final comments?
Yeah, I would just like to say that Balboa Park can be, sort of a daunting place for people because there's so much to do and there's so much to experience. But again, I want to echo the sentiment of just go, get outside. We have park ambassadors that are there to help you if you do get lost. We have volunteer opportunities for people to plug into if you like gardening, if you like being in nature. There's so many opportunities to get back in Balboa Park, and it's such an important resource for our urban cityscape to really tap into sources of well-being and health. So we encourage people to come to the park and just know that Forever Balboa Park will be here to welcome you with open arms.
Right. How they get a hold of you, Janessa? What's
you
the
can visit
website?
Our website, foreverbalboapark.org. You can check us out on Instagram as well at Forever Balboa Park. We're on LinkedIn. And we are quite responsive. We're always looking to get people engaged. So please reach out.
Well, Janessa and Phillip and Neville, we cannot talk enough about Forever Balboa Park. We're going to look forward to the next time you folks are on. Bring on Beth or bring on whoever else on your other key initiatives. Good luck with the Spark Awards on May the 9th. Listeners, be looking for it on the Forever Balboa Park website. It's open to everybody, and always enjoy this conversation. Nothing more important than taking care of this jewel that we have in our city. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.